what's going on, guys? It is Carly here, bringing you day 23 of my 31 Days of Horror 2021, and we are once again going along with the Universal Monsters box set. I finished off the Mummy films, and I decided to go with this one because it's just one film, and that is Phantom of the Opera from the year 1943. Yeah, like I said, this is, just one solid movie that you got with this Blu-ray collection that, it falls under the Universal collection, but it didn't have a franchise or anything like that. And of course, everyone knows Phantom of the Opera, it's just its own type of film in itself. There's been many adaptations of the story and so on, but decided I would give it a watch. This one is also shot in Technicolor, so it's the only one in the box set that is in color, so that's, kind of an interesting little difference there when you compare it to all the other films in the set. But anyway, the movie itself, essentially, if you don't know the story, it's about the opera for the most part. It's weird because it's like a horror musical. There's a lot of opera moments throughout the film, and there's an incident that occurs with this one guy. He's a composer, and he basically gets acid splashed on his face and becomes disfigured. He runs away and kind of hides from everyone, and ends up finding a mask that he can wear to hide his disfigurement. Early on that he has this great admiration for this, aspiring opera star. So he basically comes back and starts creating incidents and doing just different convenient stuff to try to get this one girl to rise to stardom in the opera. There's another girl, of course, that is involved with it, but he's trying to get this other girl, which of course I forget all the names, but he's trying to kind of rise her up to fame by creating accidents and just different chaos during all of her performances and such, and it starts to work. She kind of starts rising to fame, but people start realizing that something is up with it, and kind of goes from there. So yeah, I wasn't sure if I was gonna really like this film or not. I really want to see the original from, I think, 1925 or something. It's very, very old silent film. I know that one just looks really creepy, but I haven't gotten to see it yet. The only other version really of this story that I've seen is actually the Robert Englund one from, I think, the 90s, I believe. Either the 90s or the late 80s, but either way, I remember enjoying that one. I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I just remember liking it. And I did like this movie. I thought it was pretty well made. I like the Technicolor. It's just a very cool concept that they used back then. And I didn't realize this was from 1943. I was assuming it was a little bit later on because it was in color, but then I, looked it up and I was kind of surprised by that. But it has a lot of good atmosphere in it. There's a lot of moments in it that feel similar to House of Wax from 1953, the Vincent Price version. And I don't know if that took from this or what, but there's a lot of scenes that, just feel like House of Wax was inspired by it, where you have the Phantom kind of running through the town and his dark attire and whatnot, and his hat and everything, and just the look of the town as well, the village or whatever you want to call it, just feels very similar to that, which, I'm not complaining. I like that, because I really like that in House of Wax, when you have the dude from House of Wax kind of running through the streets. Just very similar vibes there that I enjoyed. Like I said, obviously this is musical horror, and there's a lot to do with the actual opera itself. You watch a lot of performances and such. I'm not a huge fan of that, to be honest. I've never been a fan of musicals to begin with, and opera in general kind of just annoys me, gets on my nerves. I just don't really like the whole high pitch, you don't really know what they're saying. It's just, voice work and everything. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but I do like the different things you have going on here with certain accidents and incidents. You know, he kind of, there's a point where he cuts through a chain and gets the whole chandelier to fall down, and it's built suspense pretty well because it takes him a long time, obviously, to cut through it. And then he finally does, and it falls, and it's just utter chaos. So I do like that. I like the effects when you do see him unmasked finally towards the end, of course. It's very simple. It's just obviously one side of his face looks all burned up, and his eye looks a little disformed, disfigured, but it's very simple, but it's effective, and I don't think it looks silly or anything like that. It doesn't look overly terrifying, but it definitely works for the film. So all in all, I thought this was pretty solid. It's not my favorite in the world because I'm just not a big fan of all the opera and musical elements and stuff like that, but great atmosphere. I thought there was really good performances throughout, and some decent scenes when it does get down to the horror aspect. So I would give this a 7.5 out of 10 from me personally. And like I said, I'd be curious to check out other adaptations because I know there's about 1 million of this story. So, you know, despite me not liking opera, but still, just to compare, I always find that interesting to kind of compare other works relating to it. But anyway, 7.5 out of 10 for this one. Thank you guys once again for joining me here for my 31 Days of Horror. Day 23, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 24.